What's up, Scentsy fans? It's Patricia, and welcome to another Tester Tuesday video. And if you're new to my channel, basically Tester Tuesday is a way for me to get Scentsy reviews out to you guys. Last week, you guys crushed the votes. We slammed the previous record. I think the previous record was 368, and I wasn't 100% sure on that. We had 473 votes come in on time. That is crazy. 473. Thank you for your votes. So in first place, we had this pretty brown colored wax with 24% of the vote, Graham Cracker Crunch. And if you're not aware, we're focusing on the new release or the new to the catalog scents right now. Second place is the slate bluish color wax with 22% of the vote, Blue Sage and Tonka. And in third place, this nice sage colored, green colored wax, Eucalyptus Wreath, and that one had 20% of the vote. So let's talk about our first place scent this week. It is Graham Cracker Crunch. Pretty packaging. This is a new release in the bakery section. And on cold sniff, it's about a medium, maybe a tiny bit stronger than medium. Scentsy describes Graham Cracker Crunch as caramelized graham cracker layered with crunchy peanut butter and creamy vanilla bean. This is a bakery lover's dream. This one here has a lot of layers. So let's break it down. Caramelized graham cracker. So graham crackers are a little bit earthy because I think they're made with whole wheat flour, but that caramelized component is not super obvious in here. It just adds depth to the scent. Crunchy peanut butter. It's funny. I get more peanut butter when I smell it on the bottom. I get maybe a quarter of it on the bottom, and I don't get it as obvious when it's warming. When it's warming, it's kind of a nutty component. There's something in cooking called umami, I believe, and that's the sensation that a rich like stew or meat gives you in feeling, and that's kind of what that gives the scent. It's very complex and warm and cozy. So that's kind of the peanut butter. As a side note, I did look on the Scentsy Scent frequently asked questions. It does say that no Scentsy scents contain nut oil, so I would think it's an artificially derived oil, but I can always verify that with Scentsy, but that's what it says in the frequently asked questions. The same spot you find out about the bottom of the warmer dish answer. But the last scent is creamy vanilla bean, and I feel like that's what I get the least. And sometimes vanilla, like I said, it's just there to make everyone hold hands and get along. It's a nice blender. It creams things out. So what this reminds me of is if you are going to like a coffee shop that has coffee, but also has ice cream, and you order an ice cream and you get this sugar cone, because this does kind of smell like a waffle cone or a sugar cone, and your ice cream choices, maybe you put vanilla at the bottom and you put like a mocha, and then they garnished it with a bunch of graham cracker crumble. But along the side of the cone, what happened was when they were making your cone, they dipped it in chocolate, and someone said, that's not supposed to be chocolate, it's supposed to be peanut coated. And the person goes, oh, so they immediately moved it out, and then they coat it with a bunch of peanuts. But in the background, you can almost smell the tiniest bit of coffee, and you can almost smell like a bakery, not like bread, like just one of those artisanal bakery shops that everything smells deep and rich and delicious. That is Graham Cracker Crunch to me. It's almost like when you get to the bottom and you can taste a little bit of all the things together. That's what this is. It's really nice. I really like it. So it's funny, I got Ryan to smell this. I said, what does this smell like to you? And I just opened it like this so he couldn't see the name. And he says, it smells like toffee. He goes, actually, it smells like toffee and coffee. Am I right? I said, well, you're along the right path. So I think, like I said, there's definitely layers in this scent, and it's definitely multi-dimensional. And does it smell a lot like coffee? No, of course not. It just smells like something wafting around in the background. You kind of get those little wafts. It's primarily a deep bakery scent. That's beautiful. Oh, so good. So good. All right. So on cold, I did like this quite a bit. And I put it in the warmer. So this is my full bar, but look, I used 7 cubes. So I decided, well, let's put it in my bedroom. Strength in through my bedroom is between 8.5 and 9 in my 25-watt bulb warmer pressed tin. So I thought, oh, that's good. I left it going 2 days, 18 hours. So then I put it in my open layout. 5 cubes. Again, strength in the throw was about 8.5 to 9. And that one I have 3 different warmers that I divvy up the 5 cubes. Most of them are ceramic, but I do have the fluted gray, which is a glass warmer, which I absolutely love. So if you can find that warmer, I highly suggest picking it up. So I left that one going 2 days, 14 hours, excuse me. So what I did was, in that first day, I remember I took Drew outside on our front walkway, and we were out there for maybe an hour, and I came back in, and it reminded me of this primitive fall craft store that I went in. So craft stores can either smell like cinnamon, or they can almost smell like bakery complexity, and this smell reminded me of something from my past, and it put a smile on my face. So it's just funny, the scent association. I think if you're someone that likes very assertive bakery scents, like a stroopwafel, maybe caramel sugar cone, but this is so much more to me than those scents. This is really nice. I would definitely warm this in the fall and winter more than the spring and summer, because it just gives you that coziness factor that you kind of associate with fall and winter. And for me, this is definitely open concept worthy. So for me, that's a huge plus. And I think this has infinite mixing possibilities. Personally, I really look forward to mixing this with something like breakfast in bed, or even cinnamon buttercream. Mocha doodle would be really nice. Would I repurchase graham cracker crunch? Yes, I would. I've actually got more on the way. And a few of my local customers have been interested in this one. It's a good one. Definitely Scentsy Club worthy for a lot of people. That is graham cracker crunch. Okay, so let's talk about our second place scent for the week. It is Blue Sage and Tonka. So here's my full bar, and I use quite a bit of my existing bar. This one is in the woods category, and it's a new release. Scentsy describes Blue Sage and Tonka as revel in the richness of midnight sage and black lavender over the sultry sweetness of tonka bean. Now on cold sniff, it's about a soft to medium. And I'm not really sure what midnight sage is, and I'm not really sure what black lavender like per se smells like. But what I find is this smells like a body wash that has been kind of muted by the tonka bean. And tonka bean, I believe, it's not vanilla, but it kind of has similarities to vanilla. It's a little bit rich. It's got some caramel tones and honey tones, and I don't know. But they kind of use it like that. But it kind of reminds me if you had a body wash, and then after the body wash dried on your body, and then you kind of get the smell. It's like a muted smell. It doesn't smell fresh and vibrant. It smells like more muted. And this definitely is an earthy scent. It's an earthy scent. I don't think it's in the woods category because it smells like wood. To me, it has an undertone of like suede, almost like a dried seaweed or a leather. I definitely get that. So I think the sage, being a midnight sage, I think it's a darker sage that is less intense on the greenery herbaceousness of sage. And black lavender, there was scent that a candle I burned a long time ago, black coconut, and I described it as a sexy coconut. So I'm wondering if black lavender is kind of like a sexy lavender. This is kind of a sexy scent. Sexy, it's smooth, it's sultry, it's a little bit earthy fresh, and it's kind of subtle. So let's get into performance. I warmed this in 3 spots. The first spot I warmed it in was Drew's room. So I took 3 cubes, put it in between 2 warmers, 1.5 cubes in each of 2 warmers. His room is phenomenal for performance. I should add that. This one was about 6 out of 10, maybe if I'm generous. I would say 5 out of 10. I'm going to say 5 out of 10 in his room. So I was like, oh, I don't know about this. I left it going there 2 days, 28 hours, just because I was trying to see how it was going to do. So on the first day, it did okay. It seemed a steady tick, and actually it took a while to build. I would say this is a builder. So be a little patient with Mr. Blue Sage and Tonka. He's got some issues. So I decided, let's put it in my bedroom. Let's see how it does here. So it was only about a 2 out of 10 here. Like, I could not smell it. And I'm like, is this going to be like ocean relift for me? Because I can't really smell ocean. This kind of reminds me a little bit of that, or Dark Harbor. It's probably the color of the wax. But it really kind of reminds me of Dark Harbor, but not an aquatic version of that. So if you like that scent, I think you'd like this. So I only left it going in here like 7 hours the first day, and I tried it for a few hours the next day. I just couldn't smell it in here. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So I took 2 cubes and put it in my kids' bathroom because that's the smallest area. Strength and throw there was about 4 to 5 out of 10. So for me, it's a little too subtle, a little bit too subdued. But I think if you're someone that likes earthy masculine scents that are, you know, with an undertone of like a suede or a leather, you might really like this. And at the very, very end, it actually almost has a little bit of that alcohol tone that I used to get from Sonny and Cher. So I don't know what that note is. I would love to know what that note is. I think bedrooms, bathrooms, offices, man caves, as long as the space isn't very big, I think this would be somewhat successful. And just on the side note, I think last week from my little cashmere and corduroy story, we were all a little pissed off with Blue Sage and Tonka. So if the story was playing out and I was giving her some advice, even if he did contact her, I would say let him go. He's not assertive enough for you. She's a good performer. This one's not so much for me. Hopefully you get a different experience than me, but will I repurchase Blue Sage and Tonka? No, I'm good with what I have. And I'm hoping that with a little bit of time, he's going to come to his senses and be a little bit stronger. So let's talk about our 3rd place scent for the week. It's Eucalyptus Wreath, also a new release. This is in the fresh category. Scentsy describes Eucalyptus Wreath as fresh eucalyptus is woven with juniper and adorned with frosted mint. So we have eucalyptus. I would say yes. I'd say I get maybe 40% of that. And then I get maybe 40% juniper and then maybe 20% frosted mint. So frosted mint to me doesn't read like peppermint. It kind of reads like a fresh air kind of thing. Like a wintry fresh air. I don't know if that's what it's supposed to do, but that's what I get. And the eucalyptus is closer to me to the eucalyptus bar and a little bit further than the Just Breathe bar. Just Breathe is very bright, airy. It's got lemon and a bunch of different mints. And this is a little bit more earthy. And the thing that's missing that eucalyptus had, for me, eucalyptus had a lot of other notes that kind of made it smell like poultry seasoning. This does not smell like that. But you definitely get juniper, and it reminds me a little bit of that juniper note that we had in Pretty in Plaid. So juniper is like a tree, a little tree shrub, I believe. And it's kind of reminiscent of holiday, Christmas time, you know, late December. Eucalyptus is sometimes used for its like air clearing properties. So does that do that here? Somewhat. That's not too bad. Anyway, on cold sniff, I liked this. I thought it was pleasant. I was looking forward to warming it. So how did it do? Well, I warmed 6 out of 8 cubes. I actually warmed this in 3 spots. As a side note, I said to my daughter, I got her to smell all 3 scents, and I said, which one would you not mind having in your room? And this is the one she picked. Shocker. And surprisingly, I already had it going in 3 spots. I thought she would pick Blue Sage and Tonka, but she did not. So the first place I put this was my entranceway, which I say is the mudroom laundry room. It has a mini warmer there. Chasing Fireflies. Strength and throw at max was 7 out of 10. And I left it going 1 full day of 12 hours. I have a note that at the end, it was very little mint and mostly eucalyptus and juniper. So I just felt like it kind of wore off. And it might have just been the day, but I didn't find this very long lasting there. And sometimes mini warmers will make a scent throw lighter because they're just not as strong. So I decided to take 2 cubes and warm it in Ryan's room. He has a 25-watt Spider-Man ceramic warmer. Strength and throw was 7.5. I left it going 2 days, almost 18 hours. And it's funny, in his room, I could smell more fresh air mintiness. It did really well there in his room on day 1, and on day 2 was at least half that intensity. And so I took 3 cubes and put it in my bonus room, which is a TV room above the garage. I put it in a 25-watt bulb ceramic, 2 cubes, and I put 1 cube in a 12-watt Doodle Dot element warmer. And there I left it going 2 days, 23 hours. I felt like I could smell it longer there, and I don't know if it's because the element warmer reminds me of like in-floor radiant heat. So bulb warmers are kind of like electric heaters. They just pump out the heat, but then it's kind of gone. So think of it that way with the bulb. And the radiant heat of an element warmer is just slow and steady. It takes longer to get going. Takes longer, you'll notice, to melt that wax. But then it just kind of steadily releases the scent. A little bit more consistent. Anyway, so it did a little bit better there. I would say about 7.5 strength and throw as well. So I think if you like eucalyptus, pretty and plaid, like fresh, earthy, woodsy, bright, clean scents, I think this would be a good way to go for you. It would be great in a bathroom. It would be great in a bedroom if you like those kind of scents. Personally, I don't. It would be great in like a TV room in the winter. This is really much, for me, a winter scent. And I just want to say, I did notice the throw was probably a little stronger than the strength. So let's say the strength might have been 7. The throw was like 8 or 8.5. I could really smell it spreading, but it didn't like hit me in the face as overly strong in the room, but it was drifting and making its presence known. So that is Eucalyptus Wreath. All right, so now we are going to move to the portion of the video where I'm going to draw for the 6 scents for voting this week. If you're new to my channel, please select 2 different scents from the 6 that I'm going to choose here below. Prefer it if you put it down in the YouTube comment section, but if you can't vote on YouTube videos or if it's inconvenient for you to put your comments there, find my Instagram post. It's Patricia Gaetz, G-A-E-T-Z. Put your 2 votes there. And yeah, side note, I got hacked on Facebook this week, so I'm trying to fix all that debacle. Drew gets his bandage off Monday, so as I film this video, the bandage will have already come off, so hopefully things are good. But thank you all for asking about him. And please remember to vote by Wednesday morning. Sometimes I get late votes. So the scents that we have in here, they have already had their like 1 shot. We're on to like, this is your 2nd shot type of scent. So scent number 1 for the week, Spiced Ember Glow. I'll try not to root around too much because it's really noisy. Scent number 2 is Pumpkin Chai. Scent number 3, Arctic Kiss. Scent number 4, Tinselberry. Scent number 5, Jeweled Pomegranate. And scent number 6, Berry Blessed. So we only have 2 official new release scents as a voting option. The rest are all new to the catalog scents. So thanks for spending the last few minutes with me. I hope you're finding this video series helpful. If you do, give me a thumbs up. If you're new, consider subscribing and hit the bell to be notified when to vote. Can't wait to see what you guys vote for this week. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.